Well, Mother Nature gave the ducks a little reprieve from the unconscious way they're doing the pond. Not well thought out at all. But record rain, they're dredging the pond, going to make it deeper, tore all, not very well planned. So, record rainstorm. I mean, if something else last, we got more rain in the last 24 hours than a typical Utah summer gets the entire summer. I mean, record rainfall, hardcore monsoon. So, as you know, post 2011, Mother Nature's completely out of whack. Completely out of whack. So, as you know, I predicted the greatest drought in 1,200 years. In 2011, I says, these meltdowns are going to change the whole ecology. So you're trying to tell me that this is the thesis out there. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm an anti-nuker. Oh, I wrote books. I did interviews. I'm on Democracy Now. I'm a California op-eds in the LA Times. These are people that never mentioned fucking Fukushima one fucking time. It blows my fucking mind, actually, and how all these so-called activist community goes along with this fucking narrative. How's that even possible? This is your so-called anti-nuclear community. Which came first, the nuclear energy chicken or the nuclear energy egg? It blows my mind. Honestly, how can you... Oppenheimer's put a new freaking light on it, and everybody's going to try to profit and bandwagon and get on it. It's pathetic is what it is. It's absolutely pathetic. You know, the movie's a masterpiece, by the way, but it's a movie. You know, so I'll be heading out to Enola Gay hangar for my 50th year in a row. The real anti-nuclear activist. Don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. I forgot more than these morons ever freaking knew. You can't ever know this fight. I mean, to a certain level. I have the atom bomb disease, same as Sudoku. I watched my partner die from it. I watched my father die from it. In the prime of his life, healthiest dude you ever met. No cancer in his family. Same with her. Chernobyl got her. Nevada test site got him. Almost got me. So, everybody talks. Of course, the Enola Gay, the artiste, Boxcar. No, not Boxcar. Teller's car. Let me give you some little hints about the so-called the Post-Ignorance Project versus the Manhattan Project. Why do you think they've gone after me so viciously, so hard? They don't go after these other, because the half-nukers are their best friend. Kevin Caldecott, Kevin, you can't say the F word. Japanese are tidy people. They cleaned it up. Chris Busby, the Pacific Ocean's a big place that'll dilute. Oh, Arnie Gundershield. Took him 7 years to call it a meltdown. He was calling it a hydrogen blast for 7 years. I mean, they march out one freaking half-nuker after another. Go write another book. So, kiddies, let me give you a couple things. Number one, Einstein did not write that letter. Leo, the mad Hungarian, the 4 Hungarian horsemen. Not him. Not that one. Picture. Not even the catcher. How good does he play Teller in the movie, by the way? Oh, I despise Teller. You know that, by the way. But he plays Teller so beautifully. I mean, my favorite, somebody I was asked yesterday, what's your favorite part of the movie, Kev? And I says, Teller. He plays Teller so perfectly. I'll give you some you probably didn't know. So, Leo, the Hungarian, his friend Teller, the Hungarian, Albert Einstein's living on Long Island now. He's probably the most famous person in the world. Hardcore peace activist, hardcore. Leo's working on Einstein. By the way, Oppie full well knew that Germany didn't have it, and Germany really had no intentions of ever getting it. Oppie worked with the German physicists. He knew if they wanted it, they would have had it way before he got it. He knew they didn't have it. That's a true quote when he says the thing, too bad we didn't get it first to use on Germany. He was asked multiple times whether he would have dropped that on Germany. Yes. When he fully well know that the Germans did not have it, were not in. Here's the communique in 1943. Came back to U.S. intelligence. Baby never born. Mother never pregnant. Einstein said later, if he would have known that, because he wasn't privy to American intelligence, but he was pretty sure intuitively in his gut that they didn't have it, weren't interested. He said, I would have never lifted a finger. Did you know Teller drove Leo in his car? Teller drove the car with Leo in it to Einstein's house. And they twisted his, would have happened if the Manhattan Project would have happened if Einstein wouldn't have signed it? I don't know. That's a very good question. We never got to ask him that question, did we? Franklin Roosevelt. Because he dropped dead before we dropped it, didn't he? Wasn't Wallace going to be the vice president? Wallace was the VP for 1, 2, 3 administrations. Wasn't he the socialist? Where the hell did they find Truman? You ever read about Truman and his wife and everything? Well, that dude was twisted and turned me inside. Twisted. Oppie built the bomb. Did he make the bomb? Yeah, his group, Oppie, made the bomb. They built the bomb. Did he invent the bomb? No. Joseph split the atom in UK. He left the Manhattan Project in 1943. Even Leo, a lot of people don't know this, even Leo the Lizard, as I call him, I've been to his house in freaking La Jolla. Even he said, no, don't drop it. No. The guy who wrote the letter said no in 43, 44. 45, the vast majority of any nuclear physicist, anybody, said no, no, no. Did Oppenheimer say no? No. Oppenheimer said yes, yes, yes. Because of his ego. That's what's so good about the movie. It's so funny it pulls out how selfish he was. The whole sex scene, it's so perfect, right? It was always about him. That was always about him. And Truman, too. It was all about Truman. The only reason they dropped those bombs, the only reason. Now, you can look it up. The general was fighting uphill at Okinawa. Have you seen Hacksaw Ridge? That's a cool movie. That's so good. You'll cry. I'm not a fan of Mel Gibson's work per se, but the whole South Pacific Theater was beyond a nightmare. My father, the Special Forces Marine, my uncle who raised me stood on Omaha Beach, was in the Battle of the Bulge, was the first group that got to Berlin. Today, I remember when I was a kid, he's a big piece of a dude. Look him up, Harold Blanch. My other uncle, Claude Blanch, the first shirt in Japan, the famous fighter pilot, the chemist from BYU. Yeah, you don't think that dude had privilege? Well, the pictures that I have, my dad being nuked in Air Blast 1, classified stuff, he gave it to me. You think that nuclear community and the mucks that run this, they don't illuminate, they radiate, are afraid of these half-nukers that prayed out? No, they love these half-nukers. Why do you think they go after me? They've kettled me. Literally, a guy full of cancer, got AML leukemia, who invented the Million Mass March. Probably the most accomplished activist of an entire era by far. Oh, they're scared to fucking death of me. Look how they go after me. Look what they fucking do to me. When there's literally dozens of Facebook pages and YouTube sites 100% committed to nothing but slander Kevin Blanch while I'm in critical condition. The son of a Special Forces Marine who gave his life, my uncle who raised me, Omaha Beach, Battle of the Beach, look up Harold Blanch, Claude Blanch, look how you're talking the most decorated fighter pilot, most accomplished fighter pilot post World War II in American history. These are the people that raised me. You know, my grandfather, who knew all these nuclear physicists in La Jolla, hate them. Leo said, no, don't do it. After the communique came back. When the communique came back, the United States intelligence behind enemy lines said, again, talking in code, baby never born, mother never pregnant. Leo backed out. This is the guy who wrote the letter, not Albert. I'll tell you the two guys that were still gung-ho. Oppenheimer was still gung-ho on dropping it. Oh, hell, he was never remorseful about dropping that. How could it be? And he saw the footage. Do you know that nobody in the United States, none of us, sheeple, have to this day seen the footage of the carnage of Japan, the United States footage, classified? On the 75th anniversary, I'm with Jim at the Enola Gay Hand. My grandson is named after my dad down the pole. First one that got to do that. We've done so much work out there. Russia released some new footage. We've never seen it. So the number they use on how many it killed that day, we don't even know if that number is, well, there's been plenty of work done inside Japan that number's total bullshit. You can times it by multiple times. Not to mention the cancer. Pulled in 1,000 paper cranes. She got to 644 Sudoku. Her mother used to call it the atom bomb disease. I have the atom bomb disease. I've had open heart surgery twice. You want to see my new pacemaker? Thank you to the nuclear energy crimes. I was born with a battered valve. It's called the heart murmur. I had a bad one, but then I got cancer, and the chemo accelerated, and they couldn't operate. My platelets were so low. In a bone marrow transplant. I kept telling these doctors, it's going. Michael Hawkins, Ogden Regional Medical Center. Go see your dentist. They're blaming, I'm rashing up. It's my heart. I said, no, it's not. We run the test. I collapsed. It was my heart. So they opened me up in 2017, replaced my aortic valve. I always felt like it never worked. I told them I could feel it. I'm doing my typo work up and down the coast. I'm like, God, it's hurting. I've been in pain the whole time. I kept telling them it's my valve. I don't think it's that valve. No, it's not that valve. It's neuropathy. It's neuropathy. I kept telling them I'm fading away this year to the point when I physically go to my doctor that they've set me up with. My cardiologist. I'm telling him to his face. My heart's going. I can feel that. No, can't even. Well, I was right the whole time. It blew up. It's where it ripped that whole artery, destroyed my aortic root. I had to sew one chamber closed. I had to transplant a piece. Harvest one out of my leg. It's been a hell of a fucking battle. It's a heartbreaking battle. My grandson was talking about it today. He's 12. All that money and all that Tesla and Apple stock you had back in those days. I watched your old videos because he's into, he's that age. He's 12. He's like, wow. So you know how rich you'd be if you didn't have cancer? I said, yeah. I was uninsured. I had to fork it all over. What a fight. So, Teller drove that car. Teller stayed gung-ho the whole way. Teller stayed gung-ho the whole way. He was gung-ho till his death, well into the 2000s. Remember, he was Reagan's Star Wars guy, of course. We got that now. We got Space Force. Every one of these guys said, no, don't drop it. Oppie said drop it. He didn't drop it, though, did he? Who dropped it? Who made the ultimate decision to drop that bomb? Truman. Harry S. Truman. Remember at the Democratic Convention when they forced Wallace out and found him after just the muck-mucks there be? Very interesting to me, that whole dynamic. And then, of course, the commie scare. Even Lewis Strauss, they demonized him in the movie, and rightfully so, man. He was a piece of work. But even he said, for years, we should have never dropped that bomb. Fighting's over. So you can look up the general. He's fighting uphill. He's fighting up that nasty. And the Japanese people were so, indoctrinated. They were afraid of United States military personnel. It's like in Korea, they were afraid of them. They were afraid what these military men were going to do to them, especially the women. They were scared of them. They were going to. They weren't gonna. They were just gonna. We never went after the emperor, did we? Battles were bloody. They were horrid. They was nasty. But Stalin and Russia had and Japan had been going at it forever. Remember, Teddy Roosevelt won a Nobel Prize for settling that skirmish. Well, temporarily between Russia and. Hope you can see it. They bailed him out, and they arrested the Ohio House Speaker. He's in prison, 20-something years, for bailing out this nuclear reactor, taking millions of dollars worth of bribes. He's in prison. Several, one of them committed suicide. The politicians that took the bribes. But the bribers, First Energy, you don't even know their name. Because when are you going to wake up and learn that? The Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate are the untouchables. They run the world. They own us right down to our bone marrow. Hoppy and crew. So now I become destroyers of world, boy. Ain't that the truth? So, Oxcar. Oh, Enola Gay. Tippett was never remorseful. I'll be out there. I got to sit in Tippett's chair at the dinner and the party when Sudoku's very great niece presented me with the paper. I got to hold the paper crayon. Second one that got to hold it. What an honor, that young woman. So, here at Nuclear U, these animals fight back. They try everything. Mother Nature, she's fighting back. The guy who predicted the greatest drought in 1,200 years, just another Fukushima coincidence. Yeah, 2011, all predicted by. Did I predict it was over? Yeah, I predicted it was over last year. Why? Because politicians started to line up. I knew then. The heat bubble over the western United States had shifted and moved into central Canada. What do you think all the fires are? Same ones we were getting here, which I call Futonium fires. So I'll see you on the 6th in Enola Gay hangar, you know, for my 50th consecutive year. You know, be there or be square. So I remember years ago, about 2012, 2011, I did an interview with somebody. No, this is 2010-ish, 2011-ish, right around Fukushima. And I used to be the go-to guy on a lot of stuff. She says, well, you're an activist out in the street doing the work. She says, that's pretty old-fashioned. Boy, he went crazy there for a while. He's dead now. I wonder why. Yeah. Look what they did to the activist community. I mean, it got co-opted. Bad. Really bad. All of it. Left, right, left, right. So, anyway, Teller drove Leo to Einstein's house when he, you know, talked him into signing the letter. But even Leo backed out in 43 and says, no, 44. They all did. Joseph, who split the atom, Einstein never invented the bomb. Einstein was never invited to the, and that part of the movie, that's the real flaw. I mean, it's a movie. It's a masterpiece. I love that movie. I give it a 6.9 on a IAEA nuclear disaster scale to 7. What scale? And I think about they set a scale to 7. Chernobyl's only 7. Fukushima's only 7. And by the way, 1 partial meltdown is bigger than 3 forecast meltdowns. Just read away. Just if Fukushima doesn't prove you who runs the world, they don't illuminate, they radiate. That's the Paramount Picture logo right there, by the way. That's it. So, anyways, I stood right here to this very square inch all those years ago on early March, well, was it 12th? And I screamed, I says, they're lying, these are full blood. Just remember years from now. Kevin Blanch, just remember, standing right here. Kevin Blanch screaming. Remember I did that beautiful rant right there? And I said, just remember years from now. Yeah, because they will circle the wagons. I'm the first report on Earth that told you these were full-blown out meltdowns. I was in energy solutions dump site by the Enola protesting the Italian waste coming in when it happened. I did the due diligence in this university on Mach 1, Mach 2, University G. I knew that that reactor couldn't handle a shake of 7.8 on the Richter scale, let alone a 9. Unless I was 9, I knew they were gone, completely gone. The cores had fractured. These were full blown out meltdowns. And by the way, they've never got to the cores. They've never got to them. Don't drop your reactors. 7, 8 fuel pools. And this is at least 3 core meltdowns, probably more. You know, we don't even know what happened to Diani. You know, we had a live cam on Diachi. You know, everything that's happened post is coincidence. I stood right here. I should just remember all these years from now. Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. No, he didn't. Pat Tillman fought off 9 billion gazillion Al-Qaeda. No, he didn't. He was shot by his own man. Jessica Lynch had to fight. I got her congressional medal. No, she didn't. She had to sue to give it back. George W. Bush won the 2000. No, he didn't. Operation Foxconn News. No, he didn't. Just remember thereof when you look back 10, 12 years from now on the Fukushima meltdowns. One person told you the truth. And it's going to. I got leukemia that year. Went to the bone marrow transplant center on 11/11/11. As Einstein would say, your place in time. What a journey. What a journey. What a journey. So, countdown to the bomb. 78 years. That'd be my 50th year in a row. It's very important to me. And you know, just the fact they kettle me, they squash me, they don't sponsor any of my videos. If YouTube wants this to have 3,111,000 views, that's what's going to happen. If it wants to have 112, that's what's going to happen. You know, I just went along with my life, tried keeping the purity of this fight as purity as I possibly can. And what else can I do? They took my money. It's your pseudo de facto sociology. It's your pseudo de facto theology. It's the ecology, stupid. It's an eco chain, and they poison it. And nobody can think anything through. Dead tide pools. My tide pool work alone should be, you know, if I was born 30, 40 years ago, I'd have several Nobel Prizes. My tide pool work, let alone my Plutonian firework, let alone my salmon work. It's not coincidence. I've proven that the Fukushima meltdowns are the greatest ecological catastrophe in human history. The greatest crime in human history is the cover-up of the greatest ecological catastrophe. Everybody that's gone along, it's the litmus test. It's really simple. To be or not to be. Nuclear, lying, dirtbag scumbags. To be on that lying freaking cover-up team or not to be. It's the litmus test. So you call yourself an environmentalist. You call yourself an anti-NUKER. You wrote books, you're on the media. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm an anti-NUKER, what's Fukushima? It's pathetic, isn't it? It's absolutely pathetic. So, that's all I can do to keep waiting for you. Mother Nature helping us out. Whew. She bats last. You're no match for her. Stand tuned.